All right, hello, wine drinking people. We're back, and more stuff in the what I had to drink yesterday section with Ricardo Penalba, the owner of Finca Torremilanos winery from Ribera del Duero, and we showed all these wines at the Tower Club tasting last night, so you'll hear about that tomorrow, hopefully. All right, well, a great lineup of wines, and this is the oldest estate winery in Spain. I find that hard to believe because it was established in '74, but if you think at what was going on in Spain before '74, there was a lot of co-ops. There wasn't a lot of estate bottle juice. Even the great wineries like Vega, Sicilia, were buying a lot of juice for their wines. So today, I think Vega is almost all estate bottle, and Ricardo making some really nice stuff from his estate vineyards. And he's got a whole lineup of wines. There's not many people that make cava, which I thought it was illegal to make cava in Ribera del Duero, but obviously he knows some high-ranking officials in the government there. And he makes a really nice Tempranillo Blanc and Sauvignon Blanc blend. He makes a rosé, and then, of course, red wines. So, man, and this guy even has a little dessert wine coming, he said. So he can fit out your dinner from start to finish here with just wines from his winery. But some really good stuff. And Torremilanos is the name given to the land. It was originally a hunting ground. It was purchased in '74, as I mentioned before. And this cava, Penalba Lopez, really nice, refreshing style of cava. Some of them can be a little sweet, but this wine is lovely apple and pear fruit, notes of white flowers, lovely freshness on the tongue, creamy mousse, a hint of sea salt on the finish. Really nice little bottle of cava for $15. And Penalba Lopez Vino Blanco, this Tierra de Castilla y León, is the appellation for a white wine. You cannot make a white in Ribera del Duero. Kind of ironic because there used to be supposedly a lot of white wine. 25% of the vineyards were dedicated to white Tempranillo, which is a grape that you don't see very often anymore. But there's 13 different types of wines that they make at this estate, and 13 different types of wine that they make at Finca Torremilanos. And then they have the white here is a blend of Sauvignon Blanc and white Tempranillo, old vines, some of them up to 130 years old. Wow, barrel fermented, no racking, about 5,500 bottles, one of the smaller production wines that Ricardo makes. A nice touch of vanilla spice, very Burgundian on the nose. I don't know if I would guess this wine is Sauvignon Blanc, but floral highlights, Asian pear-like fruit, pink grapefruit citrus, a hint of clay-like minerality on the nose, 60% new oak, so you got some of that suave character of the new oak, and it's dried for 5 years. They're one of the only wineries that produce their own barrels here also at Finca Torremilanos. And it's American oak, but they dry it for 5 years, which gives it a little more refined note. Lovely creamy texture with this white on the tongue. A nice touch of that toasty oak spike showing up on the finish. An excellent bottle of white wine, something that's a dead ringer in a brown bag from white Burgundy or, you know, Chardonnay. Or it's a richer wine than you would think Sauvignon Blanc is, but that's due to the white Tempranillo. All right, next up, the Monte Castrillo Rosado, and the soil types are Silex and quartz here. The minerality from that showing on the nose. This is the white Tempranillo has got a lot of glycerin to it, and so they do. This one's 100% red Tempranillo rather, and very fresh and fruity. Sanier style, which means they just bleed off some of the red juice, let it sit in contact with the skin for a short period of time. Some lovely wild strawberry and red cherry pie-like fruit, some pretty floral aromas, lovely freshness, and a lot of people see pink wine and they think sweet, but this wine finishes nice and dry, lovely balanced acidity. All right, next up, the Monte Castrillo. And as I mentioned before, Torremilanos is the name of the hill, and Torremilanos is the name of the area. The hill surrounding the winery is called Monte Castrillo. So that's why they named it that. Okay. Well, this is 100% Tempranillo. It's the entry-level wine for this producer. Light red berry fruit on the nose. Some notes of raw meat and floral highlights. Really nice and smooth on the tongue. A really nice crowd pleaser with good acidity. Very fresh and very balanced. A nice little $15 entry-level Ribera del Duero. All right. Next up, the Los Cantos. The 06 Los Cantos, probably the most popular wine in that Ribera del Duero section, for about $25. They've lowered the price on this a little bit on the 08, $22. Wow, it's made from vineyards on the East Hills, so 20-year-old vines, similar soil types on rolling hills. That's the name of the wine, Los Cantos. So the first vintage was 2006, so fresh earth and some lovely exotic strawberry and red cherry fruit here showing on the nose. A nice amount of that berry fruit showing on the palate. Lovely firm round tannins, ripe, a healthy dose of minerality on the finish. Really nice. There was no 2007 Cantos or Torremilanos. The quality just wasn't up to par for either of those wines. All right, next up, the Torremilanos. And this is from 25 to 30-year-old vines. And again, the area's name. Can you see the theme here with these wines and how they name them? Based on the area where they're from? Okay. Distinct terroir with an array of earth, spice, and fruit components to the nose. A little bit of sweet tobacco there as well. A big and chewy wine on the tongue. Lots of ripe berry fruit. Lovely freshness and balance of the finished. Firm tannins. And again, this is 100% Tempranillo wine. And then next up, the Toro Albens Reserva. And not a lot of wines do they do with this Reserva, Gran Reserva Crianza terminology anymore in Spain. This 2005, a very good vintage. This is specific parcels of the Torremilanos Hill, 60 to 80-year-old vines, 100% Tempranillo, but includes some white Tempranillo, which is co-fermented like they do in the Northern Rhone with Côte Rôtie. Very aromatic bouquet, saddle leather, dried tobacco spice. This is the most traditional wine in the lineup. 90% of the production of this is exported to Switzerland and Norway, believe it or not. Okay, well, lovely concentration and depth of flavors on the tongue, firm tannins, and a healthy dose of acidity helping hold everything in place. Most excellent juice here. All right, and then the Cyclo, or is it Psycho? No, sorry, Cyclo. This is their top wine. Well, it's the first vintage. This wine was produced to change things up a bit. It's 3 special parcels, one at Torremilanos, another at Granpas Vineyard and the other side of the river, and then the Les Serenas, 115-year-old vines, so a good friend's vineyard. And this wine is fermented in concrete. 30% of the juice does not see oak in concrete, and then only 9,900 bottles produced. A very personal wine to Ricardo, and this is a wine that's a very complex bouquet, cocoa, dried herbs, and white Tempranillo blended with Grenache and red Tempranillo here, but that white Tempranillo adding a little floral quality to the nose, and again helping fix the color of the wine. So this was the 2007 was the last year that Ricardo worked in the vineyards because he lost a lot of personal time, and after marrying his wife, he said he would spend less time in the vineyards and more time at home. So this is one of the reasons why this wine's very personal to him, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, a complex array of dried flowers and wild strawberry fruit, a healthy dose of earthiness and minerality, really long and complex wine, another most excellent wine from Finca Torremilanos. All right, well, next up we had Eric Foralt, from one of the members of the Rothschild family, one of the arms the Baron Edmund de Rothschild in, to show us some wines from their joint venture in South Africa.